All right, so let's take a look at this VRAM hack. So supposedly you can increase the amount of VRAM from 1 gigabyte to 4 gigabytes inside the BIOS. Now we'll go ahead and show you how to do this, and then we're going to look at 3 games, 2 on SteamOS and 1 on Windows, to decide whether or not maybe this works, this doesn't work. Booting into BIOS mode is pretty simple. Shut down your machine, then power on while holding down the volume minus button, and you will appear inside the BIOS screen. We're going to go to the Setup utility, and then we will go down to Advanced. This is located under UMA buffer, frame buffer size, and you can see right now it's 1 gigabyte. We're going to increase it to 4 gigabytes. And we'll go ahead and save with changes. And let's give it a try. Our first game is Days Gone by PlayStation Studios. So on 4 gigabytes of RAM, we're going to jump ahead in the game to a segment that I know is very, very intensive, which is right here. And hopefully, if you don't read the text at the bottom, you won't get any spoilers. Now you can see right now we're struggling at about 30 frames per second with an occasional dip into the 20s. Now normally inside the game you could see 40 frames per second without too much trouble, but this is a very intensive area. So this is why I wanted to use this one as our sample. As you can see, we're struggling to hold 30 even with 4 gigabytes of RAM. And even now we're still dipping into the mid-20s, especially when there's explosions and other items. What you're seeing is the performance of the game with the 4 gigabyte VRAM. We'll go ahead and let it play here. And as you can see, performance is okay, but nothing extraordinary. Next, we're going to go on to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We're going to take a simple run through town, which of course is always the heavy frame rate hit. Here with 4 gigabytes. You can see we're going down to 26, 27, and the closer you get to the outskirts, it'll start to increase the frame rate. You can see we're hitting 40 now. 40 is doable. We're back to 35. We're going to move up here, slowly out of town. Now we're up to 40. Now we're starting to see that performance kick back up. 42, 40, and we'll hop up on this rock up here and we'll take a look around and see how it behaves. So you're probably thinking 43, 45. This isn't too bad, so we'll just kind of pan around a little bit. You can see the frame rate hit as we're looking around, down to 29. Okay, well, that's fine. All right, now let's take a look at our last game. This time we're going to boot into Windows 10. We're going to start a bot match inside of Modern Warfare 2 on Windows 10 using 4 gigabytes of VRAM. This is as reproducible as I can get. This is a small map, all with bots other than me. And let's run around and just play part of this shipment map and see how it performs. The FPS is up in the upper left-hand corner. It's kind of hard to see, but as we run around, we're seeing 71, 76, 79. We're still in the 70s here, 65, 67. We're still holding well over 60, which is nice. 66. Pretty much our low, it looks like, is about 66, 62, 50s. We dropped them in the 50s there for a moment. But remarkable, being this new of a game, how well it plays on Steam Deck, honestly. I'm still impressed that I could pretty much lock it down to 60 and perform quite well with this. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip it back to 1 gigabyte and see if indeed we will see a lesser performance on these 3 titles once we're back to 1 gigabyte of memory. We'll go ahead and save our changes. Okay, we're going to go backwards now. Call of Duty is what we'll start with since that's the one we just watched. And let's take a look. This is the exact same setup, same map, same bot setup, everything, only this time we're with 1 gigabyte of VRAM. Let's see what performance looks like. So we're idling in the high 70s, low 80s here at the beginning of the map. and let's get started. Okay, so as we're running around, we're seeing 74, 73, 64. Haven't dipped into the 50s yet. Okay, but we're top 60s, low 70s for the most part here. And we get a little bit of skirmishing going here. Okay, we did drop into the 50s there for a moment. Very briefly. 67, 69. Honestly, we're looking about the same here, to be honest with you. I would not say there's an appreciable increase in performance in 4 gigabytes of VRAM versus 1. They say in Windows is where the VRAM makes the most difference, but maybe it just doesn't make the most difference here inside of Modern Warfare 2. I will say though, while I was playing, it did seem a little bit smoother, but it's hard to say. Back to Assassin's Creed, 1 gigabyte of VRAM. We're running through town. We're still seeing 26s, 27s. We should get to 30 right in here, which we do. And 34, 35. Yeah, this is all about the same as we were seeing before. It even jumped into the 40s there for a moment. And we're going to run up the hill. Again, as we move away from town, the frame rate increases. And yeah, so let's see, 42, 40, 41. So we saw 45 with 4 gigabytes of VRAM there for a moment, but we have not hit 45 here yet. So maybe there's a difference. 44, it's so negligible though, it'd be really hard to say. But I don't know, this is really close too. I mean, better? I mean, yeah, maybe a couple of frames here and there, but honestly, I don't know. How about Days Gone? This high performance area here required. Let's take a look. Again, as we approach the heavy area of the map, we're seeing the high 20s. Now with 4 gigabytes of VRAM allocated, we were at 30 at this point, but we're talking about 1 frame per second. Here, there's our 30. So, you know, we can attribute that to a margin of error. Okay, we're still in the high 20s, low 30s. And as we approach the map, main area here of the map, we're still seeing high 20s. We'll get that can to blow up here in just a moment. Get kind of an idea. That seemed to really tank the frame rate before. So let's see if we can play long enough to get that. We're still in the high 20s. Again, this is about what we saw before with the 4 gigabytes of VRAM. Maybe an occasional extra frame here and there. Probably not worth it though. So we're struggling to keep 30 regardless. Let's see if we can blow this thing up and get our frame rate when that exploded. Keep thinking there's someone's going to pop out to the left there, but let's see if we can get that to blow up. 29. Actually, it was 25 when it blew up before, but there you have it. Okay, so what do we think here? Is 4 gigabytes of VRAM a significant improvement on any of these 3 games? No. If I were to tip my hat somewhere, I would say maybe in Windows. Maybe it's a placebo effect, but from what I saw, it played a little bit smoother using 4 gigabytes of VRAM in Windows, but for SteamOS, absolutely would not recommend it based on these tests. What do you think? Are there games for you that have drastically improved with using 4 gigabytes of VRAM, or is it just a placebo effect? Please leave your comments down below. Love to hear what you have to say about this hack. Thanks always so much for watching. I'm Shane R. Monroe. Until next time, take care.